What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Tuesday, September 12th, 2017. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the busiest lady in the business, Andrea Renee.
OMG, Destiny 2.
There are so many questions about Destiny 2 in here. Like, it's all anybody's playing. It's all anybody's talking about. There's a lot of news that doesn't revolve around Destiny 2.
This is true. Some stuff is happening.
Lots, as always.
iPhones
are happening. Right. There's home. People keep getting in trouble. There's all sorts of stuff going on down here. Are you excited for the new iPhone?
No, because I have the iPhone 7, and the jump between iPhone 7 and iPhone 8 isn't a big enough leap for me to reinvest. First off, Apple, how dare you you can't just jump over the 9. Like, what about iPhone 9? Or, as somebody on Twitter said, I think it was Christian Spicer, who was like, well, are they intentionally going to make the 9 underpowered for what the 10 is? That doesn't make sense either.
Let's keep moving from here.
Yes.
Just keep on moving out. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the 9. The 9's
okay, I'm not going to get stressed out. My iPhone's fine.
Okay. I feel like mine's fine, too.
I'm going to stick with the 7 for a little while.
Okay,
I got to pay this bad boy off. iPhones are expensive.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about, giving you perspective, answering your questions, reading your bad PSN names, and having a ball. If you like that, you can watch us record it live over on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, but we don't look at the chat because we're making a podcast. Instead, if we get anything wrong, you have to go to kindafunny.com/you'rewrong, so at the end of the show, we can set the record straight. For everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames or listening on podcast services around the globe, no matter where you get it, thank you. Hope you'll support us, whether it be on Twitch, whether it be on Patreon. Housekeeping. Right now, if you went to patreon.com/kindafunnygames, supported us at the $1 level, a new party mode is live. Remember, over on Kinda Funny Prime, Cooking with Greg is live as well. But for now, Andrea, let's begin the show with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. Oh, quiet one time for some news. There are 6 items on the Roper Report.
Oh, a baker's dozen.
Number 1, PewDiePie has responded to the drama from the weekend. This is the Guardian's article. YouTube star PewDiePie has apologized for using a racial slur during a live stream, saying that he is disappointed in himself. In a short video posted to his account, the vlogger said he was not going to make any excuses as to why he said the N-word in the middle of a game of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, because there are no excuses for it. Quote, "I'm disappointed in myself because it seems like I've learned nothing from these past controversies, all these past controversies." He added, referring to the widespread backlash from advertising and business partners after a Wall Street Journal investigation revealed multiple times the once child-friendly star had used anti-Semitic or Nazi imagery as the punchline to jokes. Quote, "It's not that I think I can say or do whatever I want and get away with it. That's not it at all. I'm just an idiot. But that doesn't make what I said or how I said it okay," PewDiePie continued. "It was not okay. I'm really sorry if I offended, hurt, or disappointed anyone with all of this. Being in the position I am, I should know better, and I owe it to my audience and myself to be better than this." PewDiePie's statement has received a mixed reception from his commentators. While it is a more, consolatory, how do I say it? Consolatory?
That sounds right.
All right. Apology than that issued by the star following the Wall Street Journal's investigation, where he rallied against out-of-context reports into his use of anti-Semitic imagery as punchlines to jokes. It repeats the defense that PewDiePie used racist language only in the heat of the moment. Quote, "I've played video games my entire life, and I've definitely done and seen people do dumb things in the heat of the moment," wrote Motherboard's Emmanuel Mayberg. But I've never seen a friend hurl a racial slur at another player just because they were angry. Hearing people yell the N-word over voice chat is easily one of the worst things about video games and internet culture in general, and this is the type of behavior Kellenberg participated in and promoted to his 57 million subscribers on YouTube. Andrea?
Yes.
You weren't on yesterday's show. Tim and I had a long conversation about
I listened to yesterday's show, and I watched the video of his apology this morning, and I think it's important to look at the video versus just reading the statement, because I think the tone and the manner of which he delivers his apology is the appropriate one. He absolutely needed to apologize. What he did was despicable. I don't think anybody is denying that. I am with you guys that there is a difficult line when we're talking about, is he propagating racist culture? Is he a racist? And I don't think he is. I think he said what he is. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
because I've heard this word, I've heard other words, I've heard worse things said to me over voice chat many times.
Sure.
People that say those kinds of things are just idiotic people. And I've had to tell certain people in my groups where I'll be online gaming, and I'm very selective about who I game with online for a variety of reasons. But sometimes one of my clanmates will be like, hey, can I bring another person in? And I'll be like, yeah, sure. Because I assume if they're bringing them in, they've got to be a cool person.
Yeah, yeah.
But sometimes they'll come on and then they'll say things, and then I'll have to immediately be like, hey, yo, that's not fucking cool, man.
That's not how this flies.
Like, that's not okay. You can't say that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll get defensive and yell at me, and then I'll leave the party and I won't be friends with them anymore.
Yeah.
And it sucks that it has to be that way, but it never ceases to amaze me that there are still a significant amount of people out there who don't say these things because they're trying to propagate hate. They say it because they're stupid. Mm-hmm. And I feel comfortable using that word because you don't have to use that kind of language when you're upset and in the moment. And when I look at PewDiePie's case in particular, he has shown that he has made idiotic choices for someone in his position. Now, has he made also very smart business choices in a variety of other ways? Of course. And that's why these dumb choices are so kind of facepalmy, right?
Right.
Why would you do that, guy?
Right.
And I think what's interesting about the statement from, the Emmanuel at Motherboard, he says, I've never seen a friend hurl a racist slur.
100%.
I've never either, because I'm not friends with those kinds of people.
Sure.
And if I ever heard a friend say something like that, they would no longer be my friend.
For me, that's the biggest thing about it, right? In PewDiePie's apology, or just using this word or these kind of insults in general, is the fact that it's the disconnect. Mm-hmm. Where using the N-word, calling someone retarded, just calling someone a faggot, there's all this different stuff going around, and it's obviously case by case, but there's plenty of people, and I talk about it, I talked about it yesterday, right, of growing up throwing around, oh, that's so gay, and this, so that. It's not that they're on the same level, it's just the same argument of being so emotionally disconnected from another person or a group of people that you can't see why that would offend them until someone brings that up. And it's the same thing. I went to school in Missouri, and University of Missouri a couple years ago was in a whole mess of trouble about racial tension and stuff like that. And I never saw racism on the campus, but I definitely met people that I respected and hung out with and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden they'd casually drop the N-word. And I'd have to be like, whoa, man, that's not cool at all. And they'd be like, you know what I mean, though. I don't mean, and I'd be like, exactly. You don't mean it the way what that word means. Right, so
maybe you don't know what it means, and maybe you shouldn't be using it then.
And that was the same thing of it was for those for the couple friends I'm thinking of from very small towns or whatever.
Right.
It was a come to Jesus moment of okay, I understand what you're saying, and I won't say that anymore. And that's why we're friends, and that's why there's a relationship here. Right. Whereas it's not just somebody spouting it off. And so I'm not at all defending PewDiePie in any way, shape, or form. I mean, this is a stupid decision. He knows better. And that's the thing, I was talking about yesterday, right? Of this isn't 18-year-olds trying to come to. This is a man who is at the forefront of YouTube, who is the most popular person, who is a business savvy human being. He understands these moves, and I can't get the disconnect there in terms of why he would think that would be okay in any way.
Right, and you guys discussed it yesterday about how can somebody say something like that in the heat of the moment. It clearly indicates that this word is part of their vernacular. And that they're using it in other contexts because, as mentioned in the article here, I never say that word.
Sure.
People I know never use that word because it's just not a word you say. And I think what's interesting about his apology is I think that this is probably the last straw for him.
Yeah,
this apology is important for his business partners, but if he makes a mistake again, it's done for him.
That's my question for you.
This is his last time to get away with
Do you think he still has another strike in the box?
Absolutely. He's way too successful. And that's the kind of frustrating part about this is that a lot of people out there can say boycott his content, advertisers pull your funds, but he's just reached a critical mass where you can't stop his influence. Clear as indicated by how many thousands, if not millions of his fans have come to his defense with this incident. And so I think what we need to do is go, okay, look, we can't stop his influence. It's huge. I think what we need to do is recognize that he recognizes that he made a gigantic mistake. Yeah. He immediately apologized for it, and the apology was the kind of apology it needed to be, and say, okay, this is literally like the last time we're gonna let you off the hook, and then next time, like, it's done, man. For realsy, like, you don't get to say this again.
It's for me. The apology wasn't immediate, right? Like, and this is the hardest thing.
Well, I'm sure his lawyers got involved and he couldn't react immediately because a lot of other things were probably at stake, which, you know, if I was on his legal team, I'd be like, don't say anything yet too. But I mean,
and that's the thing is, like, it's always so hard in any situation like this where there's drama on this magnitude. I'll never have to worry about, right? In terms of like how you handle it and what you do. Whereas like, I can only think of it from my personal standpoint, right? And I think about the amount of times in a show I've stopped the show. To be like, hey, we just said something, but you understand what I mean, right? Like, when we're talking about, like, you know, handicap or whatever, you know what I mean?
You have to. It's so easy for what we say to get taken out of context. It happens to me all the time. I'm sure somebody's going to take something I've said in the last 5 minutes out of context.
Sure.
Like, I can almost guarantee I'm going to get someone tweeting to me or writing to me saying, like, how could you say that about PewDiePie? And I'm like, quite honestly, like, I don't care about this kid. I really don't. I think there are many people making far better content on the internet that you could be watching, but we have to care about him because he's the gateway to our culture for a lot of people, and that's unfortunate for us. But because of that, we have to recognize what happened here. We have to discuss it. We have to talk about it.
Exactly. Okay. Number 2. Now, I'm going to have you read this one because you tossed this in there right as we were going in.
I did.
To the Kind of Funny morning show. Genova Chen walks out on stage at the Apple conference. What is Sky? What's happening?
Okay, so this story comes from Tech Radar. Apple looks keen to make a big gaming push with new Apple TV 4K set-top box, revealing it's poached a key studio from core console platform holder Sony at its iPhone 8 launch event. That game company, the dev behind the critically acclaimed Journey, is developing its title Sky exclusively for Apple platforms. And while it's coming to iPhone and iPad, it's the Apple TV 4K version that's getting the most attention. Sky is a multiplayer-focused adventure game, clearly taking its cues from the artistically inclined Journey. Players will fly above the clouds in social groups, traveling to dark temples and bringing light to these dangerous corners of its world in order to summon magical creatures. The game will take advantage of the Metal 2 API graphics programming language, as well as the set-top box's A10 Fusion chip to deliver what looks to be a very silky 4K visuals. Sky is currently slated for some point this winter, provided you've got an iPhone, iPad, or of course, the Apple TV 4K.
And then you put in all caps, it's basically Journey.
I did.
Does it look great? I haven't seen the trailer.
It looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like that game company game.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I haven't, gotten an in-depth look at this game.
Sure.
Just very brief. But I think that it's huge that that game company is doing an Apple exclusive game.
Yeah.
But good for them. I mean, go where the money is.
Yeah, of course.
Make more stuff.
Exactly.
Journey was amazing. So if it's more Journey, I'm all for it.
Yeah, that'll be the interesting thing when we talked to Genova Chen back in 2015 at GDC when he came on the streams or whatever. It was like, I remember the question was like, so is there a lot of pressure, to follow up Journey? He's like, you have no idea. He's like, if you knew how many times we had stopped and started and restarted projects trying to figure out what the next thing was going to be.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's finally there for them. And that's a nice turnaround, obviously, to get it out right away.
Yeah.
Cool. Number 3. SNES Classics are coming. More of them. This is via press release from Nintendo. Due to incredible demand for the upcoming Super Nintendo Entertainment System Super NES Classic Edition, what a terrible name, Nintendo plans to ship the retro-inspired product into 2018. Originally, shipments were announced to cease at the end of the calendar year. In addition, more units of Super NES Classic Edition will ship on its September 29th launch day in the US than were shipped of the NES Classic Edition all last year, with subsequent shipments arriving in stores regularly. Fans have shown their unbridled enthusiasm for these Classic Edition systems, so Nintendo is working to put many more of them on store shelves. Next summer, Nintendo will also bring back the Nintendo Entertainment System NES Classic Edition system with new shipments. More information about the timing of the return of the NES Classic Edition will be announced in the future. How does that sit with you as somebody who is chasing down the SNES pre-orders?
Put your money where your mouth is, Nintendo. I'll believe it when I see it.
That's a great... we're going to stick with that line of thought as we go into Austin's question. You can write into kindoffunny.com/KFGD just like Austin did. And Austin says, should I cancel my SNES Classic pre-order? He writes a bunch more, but I'm going to say immediately, no. Don't. What are you fucking doing? Don't do that. Do we have to believe them that we will be able to buy these in stores, Reggie urged us this week to not pay the inflated prices on auction sites for the SNES Classic because Nintendo will ship enough this time. I also read that they are shipping more SNES Classics on day one than they ever shipped of the NES Classic. On top of all this, they will begin shipping NES Classics again next year. This all gives me hope that maybe, just maybe, they are learning from their mistakes. Do I trust them and drop my annoying GameStop bundle I had to resort to pre-ordering? While it includes a wireless controller I will undoubtedly find useful, thanks short cords, the hardcover collector's edition of Playing with Superpower is not the best way I would have spent that $45. Thanks for all you do. Keep being awesome, Austin.
I have never known Reggie to be a liar.
Sure.
So take that for what you will. I don't know how many NES Classics they sold. They never released that number, so we don't know what that number actually looks like.
And it's not like they're saying we're putting out double the amount of NES Classics we put
right,
out.
exactly. So
more. Okay.
I would say
5,000.
if you really, really want one, keep your pre-order or try to get your pre-order. I think it's good that he's discouraging people from going to auction sites because that will hopefully discourage resellers from trying to, monopolize the inventory of the SNES Classic when it comes out. But it's been such a hot button issue. And for me, like I secured what I thought were 4 separate pre-orders for different units. And then Amazon came in and was like, well, actually, we saw that you ordered more than one. So we're going to delete these from your account and we'll give you this one. And then I don't know if you're going to get it on day one. It might be like mid-October by the time you get it. And I'm like, wait, what? So at this point, I'm just a little bit frustrated with the whole process.
Yeah.
And so if I need to go to a store on September 29th to pick one up, I will.
I say, Austin, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. You got it done. The $45. It's not even so much of you get the book, whatever from it. It's $45. It's a convenience fee.
Yeah.
It's just $45 to not have to run to a store and not have
Correct.
to worry about anything and just have it shipped to your door and forget about it.
And then take that other thing you don't want in the bundle and gift it to somebody.
Yeah. Try to resell that.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I don't know if anybody would buy
No,
it.
reselling might be more hassle than it's worth.
That's
but
true, too. Yeah,
you
just
could
give it
make
to somebody.
somebody's day.
Exactly.
Just
Don't you
give
want
him
to
a
be a
nice
friend of
little
somebody,
gift.
Austin? Just give it away.
Yeah.
Send it to Kevin Coelho. Kevin, you want a hardcover? Playing with Power, Kevin?
No, I'm good.
You're good? Okay, sorry. Number 4
He was sleeping.
is a story that I found interesting, and then I was blown away by the amount of people who wrote in about this. Number 4 in the Roper Report. Fortnite is the next to copy PUBG. Donald Mustard put up a post on the PlayStation blog as well as Xbox. I'm reading it, of course, from the PlayStation blog. We are excited to announce a new mode coming to Fortnite on September 26th. Battle Royale. 100 players, 1 giant map, a battle bus. Fortnite building skills combined with intense PvP combat. The last player standing wins. Our Battle Royale is now in public test for Fortnite players, and we would love your help testing it. Just open the game and select Battle Royale. We expect the mode to experience crashing and stability issues during the public test. Then a big section of, wait, what? Yeah, we made a PvP mode for Fortnite. We love Battle Royale games like PUBG and thought Fortnite would make a great foundation for our own version. A few months ago, Epic's Unreal Tournament team began experimenting with the mode while the original Fortnite team kept updating the core game. To maintain game balance, we kept the PvP mode completely separate from the PvE mode. The new Battle Royale mode was so much fun, we decided to share it with everyone to get feedback. This is also a great time for new Fortnite members to jump in because this week only, September 12th through the 18th, we have a 25% discount on our standard and deluxe edition founder packs. So many questions about this, Andrea.
This is so exciting.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, good. Why? You love Fortnite,
Yes,
know.
I do love Fortnite.
Okay, lay it on me.
So when I heard whispers from the team at Epic that they were working on another mode and that PvP may be involved. I had no idea it was going to be a Battle Royale mode. So this is really fun because not only is it just PvP, but it incorporates the things about Fortnite that I really love. So if you watch the video with Donald, who is great, by the way,
We love Donald.
he shows them coming in on an airplane, very similar to PUBG, and
Yep.
then you kind of glide in with it looks like the Zelda glider. And then you only have your pickaxe. And then you go throughout the world and you have to scavenge for your resources, for your gun, and you aren't just going out to shoot other players, but you can build your own fort to hide out in. You can set traps, which I thought was a really unique part that obviously PUBG doesn't have, because that's one of the coolest parts about Fortnite is like the base building element of it. Like, am I going to use like the electricity trap, or am I going to use like the gas trap, or am I going to use like the spikes that are stationary, or the ones that like poke up through the ground? I don't know. Maybe I'm going to use all of them.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to set like a little death alley for you to walk down if you want to come and shoot me. I think it puts enough of a twist on the formula that it makes it a lot more fun for people like me who need something else to do besides just run and find somebody to shoot.
Maria wrote in to kindafunny.com/KFGD and sums up one of the tenor of questions going through there and says, "Hello, KFGD crew. This question is more for Andrea, but I'd love your input as well, Greg. Today, Epic Games announced their update for Fortnite." She goes on to recap. Thank you so much. "I've seen a lot of mixed comments swirling around about this. One being that this is a misstep for Epic, as the core game of Fortnite is still littered with issues. I'm inclined to disagree. If they want to put a fun mode in their game, more power to them, especially one that is this hot right now. What are your thoughts on it? Are you going to try it out, or you couldn't care less? Obviously, you're going to try it.
Yeah.
Where do you come down? Because so many people did write in being like, they said this was going to be a PvE game. It's still got a whole bunch of issues I want them to work on, and now they're putting out a PvP mode."
Well, that's why I think it's important to look at the statement that they made, because they clearly saw that this reaction was going to happen.
Right. So
and that's why they
teams.
very explicitly were like, hey, our Fortnite team is still working on PvE. It's clearly still in early access. There's a lot of kinks to work out. That's why the Unreal Tournament team is the team working on this PvP mode. Epic is a big place. There's a lot of people working there.
Yeah,
so
just a few.
I have no doubt that there are plenty of people still working on PvE, but game development takes time. I was one of the many people out there very critical of all the things that were wrong with Fortnite, despite the fact that I really, really enjoyed that game. And I wish I could get back to it, but I'm just like so obsessed with Destiny right now. I just don't have time.
You can't, yeah.
I will get back to it eventually because I absolutely want to try this Battle Royale mode. Do I want to try it right now? Maybe not. Because, I mean, they openly were like, hey, it's going to crash and there's going to be stability issues. We're in early access. This is brand new. It's a test. So maybe I'll wait until somebody else tests it while I'm playing Destiny, and then I'll jump in. But, I mean, your concerns are valid, but I think they did the right thing and said, hey, we have two separate teams working on this. Don't worry. We're still working on the other stuff, too.
I agree. Hopefully, I mean, knowing Epic, knowing Donald Mustard, I don't think it's lip service. I don't think they're lying to you.
Oh, no,
I don't think that
definitely
there
not.
really is one team split and working on all this stuff.
Why? No, there's so many people that work at Epic.
Sure. Well, I think it's just Nick Chester.
It's only Nick Chester.
Yeah, it's him.
Wow.
I think Cliff gives him feedback sometimes. I don't know. It's very confusing over there these days. Number 5. This is your daily Destiny 2 dump of information. Via the forums, this is about that PlayStation 4 Pro issue so many people have been having. Not so many, but select people have been having. The forums over on Bungie are officially talking about it. We are aware of reports that some PlayStation 4 players encountering crashes while attempting to play Destiny 2. This result is PlayStation Error CE 347870.
Oh, that classic error.
You know how it is. We are currently investigating with platform partners to identify the cause for this issue. Some players have reported that turning off HDCP settings on their PS4/PS4 Pro console has reduced the frequency in which this occurs. So heads up. That's right now the fix. They're looking into it. Have you play on it? Or do you play on a Pro at home?
I do.
Okay. Have you had any of these crashes or anything?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's not that bad though.
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing. Games crash.
Sure.
Almost every game I've ever played on PlayStation has crashed at least once.
Yeah.
So I guess I haven't experienced multiple crashes.
Okay.
If I was experiencing a crash with every play session, then I would
be an issue.
be upset.
Gotcha.
But I haven't. It's been like twice.
Okay. I was going to say, Destiny hasn't crashed for me yet. Knock on wood. Then Luke Smith tweeted out, Destiny 2's first raid has a power range of 260 to 280. What'd you think about that?
I was pleasantly surprised to see it that low.
Did you think it was going to be way higher?
I did think it was going to be higher. I'm glad that it's that low. I actually just did the Nightfall last night. So I attempted the Nightfall this past weekend at like 243.
Yeah, what are you at right now?
I'm at 269 now.
Okay.
Yeah, I
69.
just got my first level 280 piece of gear, and then
nice.
I got my 283 Sturm last night. So excited about that exotic weapon. So I'm getting there. I'm now in that really grindy
The real
phase.
grindy one? Yeah.
In order for me to get up beyond. I heard that once you're over the hump of 280, it gets a little bit better, but from like 265 to 280, it's just grindy.
Yeah.
So, but it's that Destiny I know and love, so I'm into it.
Yeah, you're just happy to be back to it.
Yeah, and I know how to power level, so
you gotta help me. You gotta get me there.
Spreading the word. Yes,
I'm 243 right now.
I will
Coming on
shepherd
strong.
you
Thank
into the power leveling community of
Thank
Destiny.
you. That's what I'll need to be doing up there. Is this something I screwed up, or did you add shaders? Removed?
I added this.
What
this.
shaders have been removed? What's
So, Bungie made a statement this morning. Apparently, there was a shader, not a shader. Excuse me.
Gauntlet,
there was a
right? Yeah,
there was a
okay.
gauntlet in the game that that looked similar to hate group's image, and I had no idea what this was. So somebody tweeted it to me. The gauntlet is. Let me read the name of the gauntlet here. It is, and I had this gauntlet in my inventory, and I thought it looked cool. I having no clue.
Yeah, well, that was the thing.
That this looked like this image. I didn't even know it. I had to like dig for what this image was.
I saw the Bungie tweet of, hey, the tweet is, it's come to our attention that a gauntlet in Destiny 2 shares elements with a hate symbol. It is not intentional. We are removing it. This does not represent our values, and we are working quickly to correct this. We renounce hate in all forms. And I was like, oh, and somebody, I think, added me on the tweet. And so then I went and Googled around, and I could not find it before the shows what it was.
So I found it. So the gauntlet is called Road Complex AA1. And so they're a hunter gauntlet item. And what it's referring to is a Kekistan banner that was part of the alt-right free speech rally that happened in Berkeley back in April. So this is part of, part of a meme that the alt-right uses.
Gotcha.
And I was not aware. I mean, I'm aware of Pepe the Frog being associated with alt-right, but I wasn't aware of this banner. I had never seen this banner before. So this is the flag.
Gotcha.
But I was like, I had no idea what this was. But you know what? Cool.
More power to him.
Change the art. That's like of course, now people are like, oh, why are people being so sensitive? I'm like, who cares? Just let them change the art. You know, it's not a big deal.
It's right up their alley, right? If we don't support this, this wasn't what this was meant to be.
Yeah.
We changed it, and like the art, and that's the sad part, is the gauntlets look cool.
Yeah,
and so, like,
I
just
want them to keep the blade on the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Just change the art on the sleeve, and we're good to go.
Cool. Number 6, closing out the Roper Report for this Tuesday. Oceanhorn killed it on Switch, apparently. The developer tweeted out, "We can also confirm #Switch being a great home for indies. Oceanhorn sold more copies on Nintendo Switch than all other consoles combined," which is crazy.
Well,
because they have a Zelda. Switch has a Zelda. I thought the Zelda clone, the unabashed Zelda clone that is Oceanhorn, would do way better on PS4, Vita, and Xbox combined. But no.
Well, I think that there's too many other things to play on those platforms.
Sure.
That Switch is still in that period where they're trying to, build a library.
Sure. But I told everyone with a Vita. I told them, Andrea, to play this on Vita. Why didn't they listen? They should have done it. It should have been there. You could have done this.
Those jerks.
Well, Oceanhorn has come and gone, Andrea. But if I wanted to know what was new and hot in the mom and grop shops, where would I go?
You would go to the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah.
There's a lot today.
There's a lot. It's a Tuesday, which is why you corrected me, put a whole bunch in here.
I did.
When I looked off the Kotaku list, I was like, this is it, but I had to run to another thing, so I didn't have time to figure it out. Blood Zombies comes to PlayStation 4. Butter and Friends Babysitter Sim comes to PlayStation 4. And this is one I saw a few trophy hoarders like myself talking about. So I need to investigate eventually what this Butter Sim is all about with the babysitting. Dream Break comes to PlayStation 4. Get Over Here comes to PlayStation 4. Happy Dungeons comes to PlayStation 4. Inside/Limbo Double Pack comes to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Manifest 99 comes to PlayStation VR, Vive, and Oculus. NHL 18 Young Stars Deluxe Edition comes on PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Planet of the Eyes comes to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Samurai Showdown V Special PlayStation 4 Vita. Hey, what up, Vita? Time Recoil on PlayStation 4. Tooth and Tail on PlayStation 4, Windows PC. Transcripted on PlayStation 4. Trulon, The Shadow Engine, PlayStation 4. VR Karts on PlayStation 4. Kevin, make a note of that one. That's kart racing in VR. We gotta get on that. Lego Dimensions expansion packs, which I had today on the morning show. You get the Powerpuff Girls Fun Pack and Team Packs, Teen Titans Go Fun Pack and Team Packs, and the Beetlejuice Fun Pack. That's right, no level packs. Rest in peace, Lego Dimensions. They still haven't said what's happening next. Probably nothing. It's probably over, Andrea. We had a good run. Again, not enough you bought it. Thank you. That was the moment of loudness for LEGO Dimensions. XCOM War of the Chosen comes to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One after already being out on PC. NASCAR Heat 2 comes to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Pro Evolution Soccer 2018 comes to PS4, Xbox One, PS3, 360, and PC.
Oh my gosh, they released it for PS3 and
They
360?
got it, man. Make that money. They know how to do it. Rayman Legends Definitive Editions on Switch. Ys 8. The Chromos of Dana. PlayStation 4, PC, and Vita, and then Call of Duty Infinite Warfare Retribution DLC comes to PlayStation 4. Woo!
Good job.
And Destiny will continue to kill all those games.
That's correct.
New dates for you. Okami HD is officially official. It's coming December 12th to the West, PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and it's only $20. We're looking here. Kevin is showing me VR carts. It does look like kart racing in VR. It's very slow. Nothing's happening. We're driving. We're just driving around. We got rear view mirrors. That's interesting.
See, this is interesting because I don't.
There's another person. Okay.
I don't generally like first person racing. I like to see the car.
Yeah. But this also just looks very slow.
It looks very
it's like
Mario Karty.
Little mopeds. You know what I mean? No, thank you. Maybe I don't know if they'll let me change the CCs. Who knows? New dates continue. Axiom Verge on Switch is coming to the eShop on October 5th. The physical date is still waiting to be announced, so hold for that one. Player Unknown's Battlegrounds is getting a September patch. This is from IGN. It's coming to test servers today. It's bringing foggy weather, a new town, a new semi-automatic rifle, and more details on the upcoming vaulting feature. And then Splasher comes to PlayStation 4 September 26th. Meanwhile, deals of the day. There's a whole bunch of new games with gold or deals with gold. That's all up there if you want to go check stuff out there. And then Andrea added, Tom Clancy's The Division's free weekend is September 14th through the 17th on Windows PC. Discounts on standard and gold editions. I like The Division, but you should play it on a console. You know what I mean? Come on now. Come on now. Where's the trophy on the PC? There ain't no trophy on that PC. Andrea, are you ready for reader mail?
I'm ready.
Well, cool your heels 1 second, because I need to tell you reader mail is brought to you by DraftKings. Week 1 is in the books, but it's not too late to get closer to the game you love with DraftKings 1 week fantasy football. This Sunday, DraftKings is hosting a $100,000 pick'em contest that's totally free to enter. Pick'em is the newest way to play 1 week fantasy football. DraftKings has organized players into 8 tiers. All you have to do is select one player from each tier. Choose between public contests with big cash prizes or private contests where you can compete against a group of friends. DraftKings also has beginner and casual contests where you'll play against people of similar skill levels. The best part is you get to draft a new team each and every week without any commitment. So, get to DraftKings.com now and use the promo code KINDAFUNNY, all one word, to play DraftKings free contest for $100,000 in total prizes this Sunday. That's promo code KINDAFUNNY to compete for your share of $100,000 in total prizes. The contest is totally free, so why wouldn't you enter? Try it out. DraftKings, the game inside the game. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Go Vikings.
I'd say go Bears, but we all know
We won last night.
Yeah, I liked your setup. We got the game over here, and you got Destiny over here. You
had to dual screen
living
it.
Your two loves right there.
I mean, it was them going up against Adrian Peterson with him, at the Saints. So I was like, we needed to win this, and we did.
You looking good this year?
Dalvin Cook,
you feeling
man.
confident?
He set the rushing record for his debut, the one that Adrian Peterson set. Okay. He broke it.
Okay. You're feeling good then. You're
I'm
feeling
feeling
good about this year.
But here's the thing. I always feel good at the beginning of the season. Ask me again in November.
I was going to say, not me and John. John and I, we know what's about to happen. Corey Gooden wrote in and kick off a rock block of Destiny 2 questions and says, Dear Greg and Andrea, yes, at the end of the show, I tell you, it's easy. Andrea, now that you finished Destiny 2 campaign, did your opinion of shaders... Let's try that again. Do your opinions of shaders still stand? Or are they as easy to obtain as everyone made them out to be? Love the content and picked up my very first cast iron skillet today to make my potatoes on the next level. Love, Corey. Aww. So, to bring everybody up to speed, we did the Destiny 2 show last week where we talked about our initial impressions on Games Daily. Then we did the Games Cast, which went live yesterday. And since then, we've played hours and hours and hours of it.
Correct.
Where are you at with shaders now?
So, my opinion of shaders still stands.
Okay.
I agree with, what you mentioned that you and Andy had discussed that maybe we came out a little on the negative side on the Games Cast.
Again, I threw you guys down. I was saying I loved it. I kept looking at the camera going, I'm enjoying this.
I still love it. Yeah. I said for weeks and months leading up to Destiny 2's launch that no matter what's wrong with the game, I still love that game because I played so much of original Destiny, which had way more problems than Destiny 2 has. But I still stand firm about my position about the shaders. Do I have a ton of shaders in my inventory? I do. They drop all the time, but they're not shaders that I want.
Yeah.
There's like maybe 2 or 3 shaders that are the shaders that I want. And even those shaders, even the ones that I have the most of. So I have one shader that I have 14 of.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's dropped quite a few times for me.
Yeah.
But the problem is with Destiny is when you're in the grind, you have to constantly be dumping armor and weapons to get the higher level thing. And what that means is you can't get attached to any one specific gun unless it's an exotic, because then you can infuse your exotics.
I was going to ask you if this had changed for you. You can infuse legendaries as well, right?
You can, yes. But I haven't yet discovered a legendary that I really want to keep.
Sure.
So I'm infusing them and I'm finding them. But also in Destiny, what happens is like you'll get that same legendary, but it'll drop at a much higher power level. And then you're like, okay, so now I have to choose. I guess I can just infuse it.
Yeah.
But then I have to spend
Legendary
resources
shards,
and glimmer to infuse the one that I have when before I wouldn't have had to do that. I could have just applied the shader to the higher level one and dismantled the lower level one. I'm still frustrated by the shader system.
I'm less perturbed by it than I thought I would be.
Yeah.
I'm with you in the fact of like last night, I tweeted out my character before bed and I spent the white and red shaders and I spent all of them to get the costume the way I wanted because I had, I guess, 4 or 5 or whatever it was. Spent them all the way I wanted and I did it being like, okay, this is great unless something comes along. But what I've been doing
It will come along.
But what I've been doing is I have it all legendary or exotics, and then I've just been infusing everything because I'm happy with the look I have. I'd like a better chest piece, but that is like my exotic piece. So I'm like, whatever, I'll just keep putting that in there.
But trust me, you're going to get an exotic helm or exotic boots, and then you won't be able to wear your exotic chest piece. And then you're going to want a chest piece with that shader and that will match the rest of your armor. It's just, it's a quality of life thing that just like irks me because they didn't need to make it that way.
Yeah.
It just seems like so stupid.
And that's to your point, right, of the fact of, and what my point too, of like, I'd like to support them with real money in the way of, all right, cool, I've spent all the white and red shaders. I'm going to get a better whatever, and I'm going to put it on and it's not going to match, and I'm out of red and white shaders, and where do I can't buy it from anybody. I got to go around and hope I drop it. And it's like, I keep getting the watermelon drops. I'm like, I don't really want the
I know,
watermelon.
I have so many watermelon shaders.
And then they have one black and gold one that I really fucking love that I put on, at the time, my favorite gun that's now way gone. And then I put it on my space plane or whatever, my spaceship.
Yeah.
And so it's like there, but it's like, I'd love to be decked out in black and gold, but I only had those 2. I haven't even gotten a third, I don't think.
The bottom line here is it ruining my Destiny 2 experience? Of course not. I love Destiny 2. It's a great game. But did they have to do this? They absolutely did not need to do this. And I'm just still upset that they did it. I want them to fix it. I just want them to change it.
I want to piggyback off this conversation, which I know has gone on multiple shows now. Brian writes in to kindafunny.com/KFGD, just like you can, and says, "Hi, Greg and Andrea. This question's been on the back of my mind for a while now. Why aren't gamers held equally accountable for the purchases they make in gaming? It seems like game developers always get blamed for tricking consumers with flashy marketing schemes and trailers, but in my perspective, that is their job. I think it is our job as consumers to sort through all that nonsense in order to make a sensible and wise purchasing decision. We don't attack writers of bad books or makers of bad films when we make the decision to consume those media, so why does it happen in gaming? Thank you for all the work you do, Brian." I mean, first off, you're 100% wrong.
I disagree. Writers and movie makers get attacked constantly.
Yeah, especially.
So we'll just set that aside for the time being. No, you're right. We do need to make smart, conscious decisions as consumers. I think in this particular case, if you're referencing the microtransactions in Destiny 2, it's too early to know exactly how they work and what the drops are. I can say that because I had such a strong opinion of this, and now this is going to sound to some of you like I'm going against what I should have done. I wanted to do a test. So me and a friend over the weekend did a test where he was not spending any money, and I decided to buy silver in order to check the drop rate.
Sure.
So I bought the $50 silver pack, which gave me a bonus of silver, and I bought a bunch of bright engrams, and he only had the bright engrams for the ones that he earned.
Yeah.
After you hit level 20, every time you hit another level, it drops a bright engram.
Which is such a great system.
Yeah, it's great. But I was worried that it was they're too far between. I right now get about a bright engram per play session. And my play sessions right now last anywhere from 3 to 6 hours in Destiny 2. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact drop rates, but we both were able to get the same exotic emote, and he didn't spend any money, and I spent $50.
Gotcha.
So what I was excited about was that he was able to get the same emote from a random drop that I
paid for.
Had to pay for, using air quotes here.
Gotcha.
So that's great.
But you got a whole bunch of other stuff.
I got a whole bunch of other stuff.
Did you find it helpful?
I got an exotic sparrow. I got a bunch of shaders. I got a bunch of mods. I got a bunch of other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was it overall helpful? Did it make your character better, you feel?
I think my Destiny experience has been better because I spent the money, but I don't think my experience would be worse off if I hadn't. I don't know how to.
You already have a cake. You just put more icing on it.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase this. You
I just
definitely
nailed it.
do not need. Yeah, but the icing is such a great part of the. You definitely do not
cake.
need to spend money on silver, and I, was opening these bright engrams, and as I was opening them, like I wasn't getting the thing that I wanted, and that's the frustrating part about paid microtransactions that are RNG, and why I went on such a rant about it last week. And I still feel strongly about that because I think the reason why I'm so angry, and I don't remember if I said this or not, is because they opened the door for a microtransaction system in Destiny where I could buy the emotes that I wanted.
Yeah.
Why can't I buy the emote that I want now? And that's why I'm angry, because you gave me something and then you took it away.
Yeah.
If you had never given that to me, then maybe I wouldn't be so upset about it.
Sure.
But I had it before and now I don't. And is it my fault? And do I need to take responsibility for spending my money and not getting what I want? Of course. But again, to put a pin in this, I'm upset because they had a system one way and set an expectation, and then they changed that expectation, and that's why I'm upset.
To Brian's question on a more base level, I think, you do need to be a responsible consumer. It's what we always talk about. When people, I think we've talked about it before on this show where you're like, pre-ordering games helps, set up server loads, do all these different things. The argument against pre-ordering games, I think, that people make is the fact that wait and see if it actually nets out the way you want it to. Wait and see if it actually delivers. Because I think, and I can only speak from my own personal experience, it's rare nowadays where I get duped by a game. Where I see something in preview, I see something, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be great, and then I get it, and I'm like, oof, this did not come together. This did not deliver on what I thought it was going to be based on everything I had seen or read or trailers or this, that, and the other. And I think that why the Destiny thing is so interesting and why the shaders and all these other little things that have popped up is the fact that people already feel like they know that game so well, and what we had seen at events we thought we knew so well, to get here and have at the 11th hour something new drop on you that you didn't see coming. That gets more news than the fanfare of, it's the same old thing, which is another argument in a respect to what I was talking about with PUBG and Game of the Year discussions, that if you wait long enough for PUBG to be a final, fully released, here it is, now it can be nominated for Game of the Year, then everybody's going to be like, well, I've been playing that for years and it's not as interesting, it's this, that, and the other. It's always the hot scoops. That's what gets up there.
Yes.
Ron Barron writes in to kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, I've been seeing a lot of talk online lately of many Destiny 2 players believing that the vast majority of players are way over-leveled for the raid, and being good enough for one shouldn't be a problem. Me personally, I still haven't hit level 20. Now, I know I'm in the minority. According to trophy data, about 60% of people have done it, but 40% is not a small amount. I worry that Destiny 2 and its community are not being welcoming enough to allow all players to participate in the raid. Do you believe that the guided games system will allow for people like me who don't want to grind for countless hours to do the raid, or will raids be reserved for the most hardcore players?
So this is a little tricky. I ran the Nightfall, as I mentioned, at power 243, and then I ran it again last night at power 266.
Noticeable difference?
Humongous difference. So there are actual numbers attached to how much damage you're doing against the higher level enemies versus what your power level is. And I think each step is something like 3%.
Okay.
So if you think about each step down, if you're like 10 power levels underneath where you need to be, that's like a disadvantage of 30%.
Yeah, you're only doing 60% damage of what you should.
So that's a humongous difference. And that's why it's important to make sure you're at the very least minimal light level in order to enter these high level things. And now I felt like I was at the minimum for the Nightfall, but I was just getting wrecked by the enemies because it was just so, there was just so many of them. And with the way that the elemental burns were set up, really tricky. But I went through with 2 other higher level Guardians, and they had successfully completed their Rat King's quest, and so they were like, we've done the Nightfall for 7 hours. We know exactly how to do this thing.
Yeah.
But that's part of Destiny. That's part of what makes it great, and people who play MMORPGs understand that as well. You can't just jump into the highest level endgame content without putting in the time.
So when we talk about the guided game system, I've heard of it. I was at the presentation for Destiny 2, but I didn't pay enough attention to have a great handle on it. Is it that it's like, it's not you're bringing somebody level 20, 168 into it?
You can't. You'll just die.
Yeah.
If you go, no, you'll just be dead the whole time.
Yeah.
And then you're putting a burden on your fire team to constantly be reviving you.
Yeah.
Because your armor just isn't strong enough to absorb the damage that the enemies are shooting you. You'll be a one-shot kill every time. And that's not how you play raids.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a good, member of your fire team, like, put in the work. Everybody else put in the work. I think the reason guided games exist, and I'm so glad that Bungie brought this on, is for people who have grinded it out in PvE, who've done, strikes and who've done the adventures and all that stuff, but they haven't found a group that was able to get together all at the same time to do the raid together.
Yeah.
And so they're like, hey, well, I'm like level 265. I'm ready to go, but there's no one in my crew that's ready. And that's what guided games exist for people who are of the right power level, but just don't have anybody to play with, or maybe don't know how to do the raid.
For me, Ron, as somebody who, I'm 243, so it's not like I'm light years beyond or behind everybody.
And this is really fast. You heard me say that I wasn't expecting the raid to come. I did not realize they were going to be releasing the raid this quickly.
Yeah, tomorrow.
The grind to get up to the power level you need for the raid is intense quickly.
And that's
so don't feel bad if you're not going to be able to raid this week. Take your time, enjoy it.
I think the thing about it too, though, is the fact that the game does such a great job of this time around not making me feel like I'm way behind all my friends.
Right.
Even though I am. Like you're, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
269.
Andy, what are you now? 269 as well. Nice. Yeah, but the fact that like I can still jump in and play with you, but then also when I'm running around doing stuff on my own, it's varied and it's rewarding. Whereas I went up, 10 power levels last night playing by myself, just running around. I was doing the public quests or public events, and then I started doing some quests, and then I was just like fucking around. Like the fact that there is story here going through and doing, you know what I mean? Like I was having such a great time last night by myself, which was nice because in Destiny 1, it was the opposite where, oh, you guys are way a level, or you're like, that was the thing. You both had full fire teams last night. And I was like, oh, like in the past that would have been like, oh, I remember in Destiny 1 doing it by myself and being like, well, I'm just patrolling the moon over and over again. This is pretty boring, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, and it isn't like that. There is a story here. There is interesting enough where, for me, I think I could play this one all by myself up until this point and be like, I'm still having fun and I'm seeing the progress and I'm being rewarded, and there's always a new thing around every corner. And last night I was like, oh right, there's a trophy for doing all like 30 challenges, so I just started knocking out challenges and stuff by myself. I was like, this is great. This is such a great fucking game. Love this game.
Yeah, Ron, I get where you're coming from when you say you don't feel like it's welcoming. I think that you're maybe putting an unrealistic expectation to get as far ahead as you need to. I mean, we're all busy people. You have jobs, you have kids, you have other obligations, maybe you have other games you're playing. If you're not ready to get into the raid this week, don't sweat it. Take your time. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
You'll find a group, and if you don't, you've got the best friends.
Exactly. You can join there's several kind of funny clans now, as you'd expect, since there's limits on it. You can check out the forums, you can check out the Facebook group, you can check out the subreddit right now. I know on the subreddit there's a bunch going on. And also, stay tuned for Squad Up. Gene from the Bean writes in to kindafunny.com/KFGD and says, I recently found Kinda Funny and I'm in love. Tim is the best. Well, all right, great. He says, what's good game, or she says, all right, what's good games is also cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Andrea has in store. Question. I generally suck at first-person shooters, but I really want to get on the Destiny 2 train. Is Destiny 2 more approachable than other games like Call of Duty, Quake, and Overwatch? Thanks. P.S. Get an Innova. It will change your life. What's that? You know what that is?
Yeah, that's my thing.
Oh, the sous vide. Get a sous vide machine. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I don't know. I gotta come over. You gotta cook for me, Kev. You gotta come over one day and cook for me.
I feel like that's too much pressure. You're gonna want me to like cook good, and I
do cook good.
Yeah.
Well.
No, I cook good.
Okay, you cook good?
Yeah.
Kev cook good.
I'm gonna go get some food.
All right, go get some food. As somebody who's not shooter oriented, who's not a shooter focused player, who plays Call of Duty for the story and sometimes finishes, sometimes doesn't, dropped out of Wolfenstein and stuff like that. Like I think Destiny is a totally approachable one. The enemies are dumb.
Absolutely. Yeah. The enemies are super easy. So take your time. I tell other people that I've talked to about approaching Destiny 2, and they don't play shooters either. Like, if you're comfortable with first-person perspective games, that's step one.
Yeah.
If you don't like those kinds of games, then you will not like Destiny because the majority of the game is in first person. The step two is give yourself time. Be patient. Take your time. You know, get a feel for the controls. There's no rush to make sure you get things done quickly. If you need to do story missions multiple times, do it.
Yeah.
If you die, who cares? There's really no penalty for
there's no
dying.
penalty for death. That's the other thing.
So,
that's
like,
nice,
let yourself die. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
not like you're going to lose your inventory or your glimmer or anything like that. Like,
I definitely think it's worth trying because, and that's the thing is like, it reminds me so much. It's a first, and I know it isn't. Stick with me. It reminds me so much of MMOs, right? Where it is that first-person perspective of like, I'm just blasting these things, and they're not giving me too much of a challenge. Like as you get, increasing the strikes or whatever, it gets harder. There's more things, but it's like for the most part, you can run around and get your sea legs and feel competent in this first-person shooter before you start getting good.
absolutely.
Final question comes from Jared, and it's straight up for Andrea. But he says, "Greetings, Guardians, Greg and Andrea. My question is long, but boils down to this. What the hell is wrong with the Paragon community as of late? Ever since .42 came out, people have been upset understandably because it changed the game drastically. The same kind of outrage happened when the map changed from Agora to Monolith. But this time around, it's only getting worse. On the last community corner, some of the Paragon team had mentioned threats of violence made against some of the Paragon team, along with that the toxicity on the forums is high right now with the usual posts of quitting the game. This game is dead now. This update is garbage and the game isn't balanced, etc. As someone who loves Paragon, I worry about its future. Usually stuff like this blows over as people adjust, but to go as far as to threaten violence is incredibly upsetting and makes me worry this kind of outrage is going to last a long time. So, what are your thoughts on people threatening the Paragon team over this update and how this will affect Paragon now into the future? There was also some kind of debacle over packs, but I seem to have missed that. If you know what happened, Andrea, please explain.
It's not really even worth mentioning because they fixed it already.
Okay.
So there was something that was dropping in the loot boxes that ended up being like there were cards that were dropping in loot boxes, and cards affect how you play. So it was essentially pay to win, and they fixed it right away.
Gotcha.
I don't even know why they made that decision, but it's good because they fixed it. Like they fixed it.
Perfect.
So no need to be upset. It's out. So
what's happening with the community? Do you know? I remember when it originally. This is the same patch you were coming up. You're like, this
Correct.
changes everything. What the fuck?
So this is why I'm not playing right now.
Ooh.
So V42 dramatically changed the meta in a variety of ways. For longtime Paragon people, the people that are in my Paragon clan that I play with, a lot of them are super excited about the changes. They fully embrace them. They say it's the most fun that they've had with the game.
Wow.
And I say that's awesome. I'm glad that you're having a good time. I personally don't have the time right now to relearn how to play that game. Mm-mm. Are the fundamentals of the shooting mechanics the same? Yes, but how you spec your character is dramatically different. A lot of the heroes play differently, and the last time I logged in, there were still some heroes that weren't balanced properly, and it made the games really unfun. And so I was like, you know what? There's just too much else to play right now. I'm going to let you guys work out these issues, and then once I have a little break from Destiny, I'll go back to Paragon because I love that game.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to jump in, but right now I am not comfortable jumping into PvP matches because I feel lost because of the meta changes that they've made.
That sucks.
Let me be clear. There is no excuse or reason that anybody at any time should be threatening violence against anybody. That should never happen. Especially over a video game. Like, that's dumb. Don't do it. You're a bad person if you're threatening to hurt somebody in any way, shape, or form.
And even when you think you're joking about it, remember there's no tone and they don't really know you. So that it doesn't play as a joke when you say stuff like that.
Also, don't make that joke. Make a better joke. If you're going to make jokes, make good jokes. Don't make shitty, violent jokes. Like, this upsets me. I hate it when I hear stuff like this because these people work so hard to make us video games the thing that we all love and the reason that we're all in a community together. And the idea that you think you're entitled enough to threaten somebody because they changed something, that's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. If you were here, I would slap you in the face. Stop it.
That's a threat of violence.
I know.
It's a cycle we can't break.
I'm the worst.
No, you're right. I mean, it's the the detractors to it who want to just it's the internet. He's clearly fucking around. Like, we can make the internet better than that. We don't need to be these people.
Yeah.
We don't need to be these people that's what you want to sync to because you're not happy with this.
Yeah.
You can stop playing the game.
Right.
You can tweet about, hey, I'm not going to do this anymore. You can write them letters. That'd be more effective.
The toxicity is real, and I choose not to participate in it. Am I angry and upset about the changes that they've made? Yeah, but a lot of it's because I don't know. I haven't been able to take the time to understand the changes that they've made.
Yeah.
So was I verbally upset about it when it first happened? Yes, we talked about it on the show, and I was like, I'm angry about this. And so I said, you know what? I'm not going to continue to be angry about it because there's so many other video games to play. So that's what I'm doing. I took a break.
Yeah.
And when I have cooled down about it, I'll go back and I'll sit down and take the time to learn the changes in the meta, and I'll probably fall back in love with that game again. I just needed a break. So
okay
maybe you need a break too. If you find yourself getting to the point of anger.
Okay. I want to talk to Jared though. I would tell Jared I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, the community's upset right now. Communities get upset like that. That's how things go changing. The anger, the toxicity of it, like, you need to stick in that community. You need to be a person who's bringing rational thought back to the argument. You need to chime in. You need to let Epic know that I don't like this decision, but I'm letting you know in a respectful way, and that's how things actually get changed around here. You can't. This is what we always talk about with the internet comments, right? And the problem with it is the fact that if somebody wants to come in and be negative or crazy in the comments, like if they want to just come in and be something totally boisterous like this and off base, if all the rational people leave, then it's just the negative people who stay, and then it just becomes what I was talking about in my Game Awards speech, where I understand that it's hard and like people play a game and they like a game and they walk away because that's what normal people do. But if you play a game and hate a game, you fucking come out of the woodwork to be assholes. That can then seem to the developer that's all that's out there. That's all that's really happening. If you love a game and even if you don't agree with the decisions, you can say that and say that respectfully.
It's like me and Destiny 2. I love you, Destiny 2, but we got some problems. We got some beefs.
Destiny 2, I just fucking love you. I don't care. Suck your dick right now. Squad up time. This is where one of you writes into kindafunny.com/KFGD. You give me your username, the game you're playing, why you need help, whose help you need. I read it here. The best friends find you. This one's different than all that because that's what this show is. Anything can happen. Derek writes in and says, hey, Greg and Andrea. With the Destiny 2 raid release tomorrow, I wanted to spread the word about a community that could probably help out a lot of best friends. Destiny Sherpa is a subreddit that is dedicated to teaching Destiny players how to raid in a fun, judgment-free environment. All of our Sherpas are players who dedicate their time to help out the community without any compensation aside from the satisfaction of helping other players. We do not carry players through the raid, and we take the time to explain every mechanic. Our goal is to make it so you don't ever have to worry about getting into your first raid, and we want for you to go into your second raid as the smartest guardian there. I have helped groups ranging from hardcore players to two father and son teams. Over the past 3 years, we have helped out just over 30,000 guardians, and we are ready to go full force into Destiny 2. If players are not on Reddit already, all they need to do is Google search Destiny Sherpa and we are the top result. Register for an account and you can start looking for a Sherpa. While you're there, go to the Kinda Funny subreddit. We also have a sister subreddit called Crucible Sherpa that focuses on helping players improve all aspects of the Crucible. They like to focus on long-term goals of progression, helping Guardians steadily improve while also offering more quick-fire education in Trials of the Nine. Thanks for everything you guys do. Listening to KFGD is the best part of my day, and I find myself refreshing the podcast app in anticipation every night. Derek, a.k.a. Smoldering Ego on Xbox One. Derek, what a lovely little community you have. That's awesome. And it speaks back to the question we had earlier. Yay.
Yeah,
good
that's
people on the
awesome.
internet. A good palate cleanser to end on. There are good people on the internet just like you best friends out there.
I do want to say, just as a clarification.
Here we go.
It was meant as a joke, but I should have made a different joke than the slap your face joke. I just want to clarify that right now, that I made a big rant about violence and then I ended it with a joke about violence, and that was the wrong move.
And that's big of you to say. And I think a great point of the takeaway from that is what I was talking about too. It's tone. Clearly, someone watching this understands you don't mean that you'd slap them in the face.
No.
But if you were to tweet at Luke Smith or whoever, I don't know why I'm attacking Bungie on this Epic thing. But you understand, that doesn't carry tone. They don't know you. They don't know what you're fucking talking about. And that reads as, oh, this guy wants to hit me because he doesn't like what I did.
Yes. So I needed to clarify that.
Gotcha.
So I shouldn't have done that.
Well, thank you. Andrea?
Yes.
People during the show, if they're watching live on Twitch, can go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Tell us what we screwed up as we screwed it up. How do we do today?
We did okay.
Yeah.
PewDiePie pronounces his last name Gelberg.
Gelberg, thank you. I never know it.
Also, somebody pointed out that his apology video is monetized, which I think should affect how we view it. I don't think we need to get into that discussion, but you think about that and think about how that makes you feel. The Sky game is not exclusive to Apple TV and iOS. It was clarified it is coming to Apple products first, but it will go elsewhere after. Good to know. Thank you.
Waiting for my PlayStation trophy.
Greg said Destiny 2 hasn't crashed for him. It literally crashed the first time he streamed it.
No, you stupid fucking idiot. You remember pretty clearly that was Jen logging into my other PlayStation 4, wasn't it? Delete your Twitter. It's over. Thank you, Kevin. I'm trying to pitch the perfect game out here, you know?
You know what's funny is that somebody immediately after him said, "You're wrong, it crashed because Jen logged in."
Yeah, that's all. Who said that?
That PR guy.
Oh, that PR. Oh yeah, he's always one of that.
A new development from him, he also added, adding to the Destiny 2 microtransaction blues, earning loot boxes through gameplay will take longer and longer after earning your first 5. You can check this discussion on the Reddit, the Destiny the Game Reddit. And
So
then
the
he has an
Bright Engrams?
editorializing thing, which I won't read.
Okay, so the bright engrams of like once it takes more and more to level.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so that's unfortunate. Damn it, Bungie.
Here's my question for you.
I'm trying to walk back how angry I am about it.
So you get to level 20, somebody out there who's doing this right now, or
Yes.
myself or whoever, and I'm going to buy some of these bright engrams. I'm going to go buy the silver and stuff.
Right.
Does it make more sense to wait until you're way higher level or your way higher power level to do it, or does it not matter?
It depends what you want the engrams for.
I want to be as powerful as fucking possible.
If you want to be as powerful as possible, you want to do a little column A, little column B, because you
Okay.
can't get powerful without getting high level gear, and you can't get high level gear without getting exotics. So once you get your first exotic, that'll help immediately boost your
Okay.
power level.
Okay.
And then the thing that's confusing, and I don't know how long we want to go into this, but like the thing that's confusing
Yeah,
is
all
the
day.
way that engrams, the dropping of engrams worked in Destiny was that you had to equip your highest light level gear before you went to talk to the Cryptarch. So let's say I had a pair of boots that I liked, but they weren't my highest light level. Before I would go decrypt all of my engrams at the Cryptarch, I would move around my inventory and make sure each piece is the highest. And then you
Gotcha.
had to do this dance where you would decrypt one engram at a time.
Oh, no.
And if it was a higher light level, you had to go and equip that one
Oh,
thing.
God,
So you
okay.
couldn't just hit bam, 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 and decrypt.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, but you were wasting potential opportunity to get higher gear because the grind, once you get up there, is literally 1 point at a time.
Sure.
So what I would do is I would then equip my highest level gear and then go decrypt another one. Equip the highest level thing,
Yeah.
decrypt another one. That was the grind in Destiny, and it was maddening. But it was what you had to do.
Okay.
That's not the case now.
Oh, good.
So now the Cryptarch will take into account your whatever's the highest power level in your inventory. However, it's important to know that your engrams will drop at the level that you are currently at. So that being said, if you're going to be farming for specific kinds of engrams, you might want to figure out if you want to decrypt, if you want to hold on to your reputation tokens before you cash them in at a specific faction
Gotcha.
vendor. For example, like if I have a bunch of tokens for failsafe
Yeah.
or for
EDZ,
Zavala
yeah.
or whoever, maybe I don't want to go turn them in right now because my level isn't high enough, and then I'll get an engram or something to drop at a level that I want higher. So
Okay.
something to think about.
That's terrifying. I just don't like thinking about it. I like
No,
going
it's
there,
too much.
I
It's
just
a
drop
lot.
in. I get an engram. I get all excited.
Yeah.
I run
So
back and I
the
decode it.
specifics of how this works is still being discovered.
The science is still being figured out as we play.
Correct.
Is that it?
That's it.
Final question then is, Kevin, what are you eating? It smells delightful. He's got to turn on his microphone.
It's shrimp, sausage, and some sautéed vegetables.
You said shrimp sausage?
He said shrimp, sausage, and some
Oh,
sauteed
okay.
vegetables. It smells like Marnie's High from way back in the day. Good job.
I miss that place every day.
Proud of you. Proud of you over there. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Kind of Funny Games Daily. Tomorrow's host is Danny O'Dwyer. Yes.
Oh, he's back.
He's not dead. He is returning to here to do the show. We're very excited. Andrea, of course, thank you. Everybody follow her. You know, all the things.
Yeah. I'm going to be streaming the raid.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
What, are you doing it during the day or are you doing it at night times?
At night.
Okay, cool.
6 p.m. Pacific.
Are you playing tomorrow? I'm trying to take a vacation day and just play Destiny all day tomorrow. So, if you're around tomorrow, I'm going to be on there trying to grind it out.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, we should look into that. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Kind of Funny Games. Each and every weekday, we show up. We run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about, give you perspective, answer your questions, have a good time, be part of the show. kindoffunny.com/KFGD. You're all fantastic people. The questions have been great. We love you very much. Play some Destiny. Enjoy yourself. Subscribe, like, share. You know, I don't have to tell you all about the Patreons and the Twitches and all that jazz. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.